So my name is Denise Thompson and I've been working at Kettering General for about 10 years now. I work with the patient experience team or within the team as the translation stroke patient information officer there. Yeah, I think it started after the events of last year. Last year for me and for my family were pretty horrendous, one thing or another. I lost a few people, I had people that were unwell, and it kind of topped it off when towards the end I lost my former husband to cancer, closely followed by our next door neighbour of all things. So I kind of felt as though I'd spent a lot more time on the walls than I actually had done in the offices. I was having a chat with a friend of mine, feeling quite low one day. His name's with Keith Ogley, and he's actually one of the volunteers here. And we were chatting, I was telling him, about what my thoughts were and what I wanted to do. And in the conversation, he was saying that he wanted to climb the Great Wall of China later on in 2019, but he didn't really fancy going on his own. He was already a keen walker. After he'd gone, and for a couple of weeks afterwards, I was thinking, what can I do, what to do? And that's when it all started to fall into place. And I thought, right, I'm going to do an event each month, and the finale will be the Great Wall of China. I was quite nervous about it, didn't quite know how I was going to achieve all this, but I had at least a plan in mind, so that's how I set out. And then with the help of speaking to the charitable funds team and speaking with Keith about what he did and how he raised money, it started to get off the ground. But the more it got off the ground, the more it started to snowball. So I started getting all these events, and then people started coming on board, wanting to support me, and then they were setting up events and asking me to go to them, and it kind of was amazing because I didn't believe that I'd managed to achieve £1,000, let alone for what we've achieved now. And then the finale, like I said, was the China Wall, and that was something that I was a little bit scared about, apprehensive, but I thought, do you know what? After everything I've just been through the last few months, what could possibly be any more challenging? I thought I'm just going to go with it. And there's a group of people who go with a group, so I thought there's nothing to be worried about, just go. The trip was absolutely amazing. In fact, Matt wouldn't even describe it. It was awe-inspiring. We were 21 people in total, so there's a group of us of 21. We obviously got to know each other and their stories. I'll tell you what, when you listen to that, you think, actually, I'm not the only one with a history and all with challenges. These people, some of them incredible. So it all came out over the days we were together. So we all had a very close bond. I think at the last day when we were going through the blue ribbon before we did our descent, I think we just all cried and laughed and didn't know whether to do one or the other. It was just amazing. The trip organisers themselves were amazing. She was great the way she was planned and how she got us to gel together. She put us all into different groups, and so that we wouldn't get lost and we stayed together and we helped each other out. The guys in the group were amazing. They always kept stopping to help and let us know that anybody who was struggling they would help without any assistance from the guides. We had an amazing Chinese guide that was English speaking, but then he'd call on the locals to come and help out because some of the paths were quite treacherous. And had probably been overgrown since the last tour that had gone there. Like I said, I can't even describe it. I think the final thing for me was when we got to the last day, we were on the highest point before the last tower. I remember standing on my own and just looking down thinking, how the hell do you actually explain all this to anybody? How do you describe what you're looking at? Because no picture on a camera would ever manage to capture what you feel. But I think also for me personally, that particular trip has been not about actually physically managing to do that trip, but it's been climbing a challenge on my own personal self, whether it was mentally or emotionally. I felt I've come a long way. Even more so, the villagers we met, the people we met, before 2 days before we came home, we went to the old part of Beijing, and a family there provided a meal for some of us. It was 18 of us had a meal there. It was down the back streets. They had very limited facilities, and they cleared out the living room so they could cook for us and provide for us. And their kitchen was so tiny, unbelievable how they managed to get that food there. And she was so proud at the end, and she was trying to explain to us that she'd got running water, and they got a shower, and she obviously felt very proud of what she'd got. Even though for bathroom facilities, they still had to go outside and share with the neighbours, and you still have to bring your toilet paper, your torch and your bucket. And it just makes you think, it just gives you a kind of insight that these people are happy as they are because they don't know any different. how lucky we actually are. And having an NHS, I mean, people complain about all sorts of things, but actually, if they actually took time out to go and see how other people lived in other countries that hadn't got as much as we have, they'd be far more grateful for what we got and for our country, what we got. I must admit, when I got home, I stood in the shower for about half an hour just to appreciate the hot water I had and the mattress, because we hadn't got any mattresses when we were away. So, yeah, it was just an amazing experience all over. I think so far to date, it must be just over 10,000. I think before I left it was up to 9,000, 9,500. And our biggest dream is to be able to, at Christmas time or at least the first week in December, having all the stuff together and being able to say, okay, here's the ECG machine, here's the fold-up beds, here's the iPad tablets that we might use for doing a pilot scheme, I think, in an instant to see if they will work in the wards and how well they fare. So we'll just have to go from there. So yeah.